To start Visual Studio, if you have it down here on your taskbar, you can just left click. Otherwise, in the search box, you can actually key in, Visual Studio, and then it will show up. And you can left click on it. This is the type of screen that you're going to see when you launch. And what you're going to need to do is create a new project. So you're just going to click on that. And what you do want is a console application. And probably the first time you come in, it's going to say all languages. So you are going to want to change this to C#. And then, if you don't see console app over here, because this is your recent projects, you can go ahead and key it in. And really, you don't even have to key in the whole thing. Just key in the word console, and then you'll see console app. And you can click on that and click on next. Then you want to give your project a name. And so I'm just going to call this first program. And by default, it should be saving the project in a folder. And the folder is going to go into a repository or a repo folder that is located on your C drive, your hard drive. Now you can change that. If you click on the ellipsis here, this would be the default location. But I have multiple classes that use Visual Studio. So I've created a 110 folder, and that is where I'm going to put this. And then when you create these projects, they create folders, and then they also create a solution file, which is how you get back into the project after you close it. So putting a little check here puts that solution file in the same folder as your project. So it's all located together. So you're going to want to put a little check there and then click on next. Now the .NET framework is going to change. It changes quite frequently. So what you're going to want to pick is the highest one that has long-term support. And so they just came out with .NET 8 long-term support. So we're going to pick that. And then I want you to put a little check next to do not use top-level statements. I want you to see all of the code. If you remove this, some of the code is hidden and it's generated when you compile, but that is not the best way for you guys to learn. So put a little check here and then click on create. And then it will take you into Visual Studio. And so what you're looking at is the interface window. And right out of the box, this program will run. It has created a namespace with the same name as the project. It has a class called program, and in the program class, we have a main method. And that is where the application starts to run, always starts running at main. And all our main method does at this point is basically prints a little statement, hello world, to the console. So if I wanted to run this, all I need to do is click on this little run button. And there is my statement. Okay, and so I can just press enter or click the X to close out of here. Now, typically when you create a new program, you do something besides hello world. So you would key in any additional code right in here. And I might just change this to hello CIT students. Okay. And then since I have made a change, I'm going to save it. And now if I run it, we'll see a different message. So to save your changes, you just click on save. If you have made multiple changes, and in Visual Studio, you can have multiple files in a project. This one will save everything. Okay, and let's take a little look over on the right-hand side in the Solution Explorer. So the Solution Explorer shows you all of the folders or directories and files that are part of your project. And we are doing council applications, which are actually the simplest kind of projects. And so what you're going to see is a C# file. And it says program.cs. .cs is for C#. Okay, and so that is the code that we see over in the main part of the program window. So to close this, you can just click on the close button in the upper right corner. If you just close program CS, you're going to stay in the project. And then you can open it by double clicking. But if you close this, you are completely out of the program. Now, if you create a program and then later on you need to open it again, what you are going to have to do is navigate to the folder you stored the program in. And so by default, it is going to go into repos. So that is on your C drive. So you'll have to go to C and users. And this is assuming you have a Windows system. So it's C and users, and then your username, source, and then you'll see repos. Okay, and I have mine in this CIT 110 folder. And you can see we got lots of code that we're going to be creating this semester. So by default, it's in alphabetical order, but to pull that particular one I just created up first, I'm going to sort by the date modified. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Windows and different views, this is Details View. So if you click on the View button, you can see all these different views. I like Detail View just because it gives me the most information. And then I can just hit Date Modified, and here's the first program. So if I open this folder, these are the different directories that Visual Studio created. And if you want to re-enter Visual Studio and edit your program, you need to open firstprogram.sln. Now, what happens if you don't see the extension, which is the code that's after the period? You can turn that on. Okay, and I would definitely recommend turning on your extension because if you don't have it on, then you are missing some vital information about the files that you're looking at. Like the CS is the C# code. SLN, that is the solution file, and it will take you into Visual Studio. And those are the two most important ones. So in order to see those extensions, if you click on View, go down to Show, you want a check next to File Name Extensions. I would also put a check next to Hidden Items because once we push things up to GitHub, that may come in useful too. Okay, so I put a check next to both of these. Okay, and then you'll see your extensions, and you'll also see any folders or files that were initially hidden. And then you can just double click and it will launch Visual Studio and it will open your program right back up. Now, once your program is done, if you need to create another one, it's just File, New, and Project. Okay, and then it's just pretty much that same process.